Yo, good morning, everybody. Welcome back. It is 2026. It is the Apex Brotherhood live stream. My name is Richard, and on this side is a Sam. Sam, how are you?
I'm good, Rich. I'm good, Rich. How are you? How's the new year?
I'm doing good, mate. I had a nice little rest, even though it was probably only like a weekend and a few days. I feel rested. I feel good. How about yourself?
I have been waiting to get back into the markets.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
I
it has been
kind of couldn't
I
wait
need to
this
see the
morning.
Christmas markets, and after that, from now the markets will gain momentum. They'll go back to normal. It'll be good trading. This week there's a lot of news, a lot of movement.
That is true. That is true. All right. So, without a further ado, let's have a very quick disclaimer and then we'll get straight into the markets. All right. Sweet beans. Let's get some music going as well. We need to get back to the old school Apex Brotherhood because there's no more jingle bells because it ain't Christmas no more. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Music's up. Right. Do you want to do a screen share, my friend? And then
Give me a minute. Yes.
no problem. I will start with mine so far. Here we go. Do that. There we go. Nice. While you're busy getting a screen share up, I'm going to say hello to everybody in chat this morning. MGN, Thalantir, good morning. First in, as always, how are you this morning, brother? How was the weekend? Well, I know how the weekend was because we had the same weekend. Yeah. We've got Sigma FX. Good morning, brothers and sisters. Happy New Year's tomorrow. The opens today could be wild. Happy New Year's tomorrow. What do you mean by Happy New Year's tomorrow? Dude, it was Happy New Year's like 4 days ago. Well,
Five, I
convention.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Happy New Year's to you as well, mate. Like, happy to see you back in. New Year tomorrow. Don't even know what I'm typing. Yeah. Yeah, we get it, Sigma. It's a fresh week. It's a new start. So we'll forgive you this time. Nah, mate, like, it's all good. Annie Rude, good morning, Annie. Hey, fellas, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you as well, Annie. Hope you had a good, hope you had a good and restful New Year. Yeah, let's do that. Pooley, good morning and a very Happy New Year to all. Good morning, Pooley. How are you this morning? And yes, Happy New Year's to you as well. Yo. Hey, Rich, good to see you. Sam, good morning. Yes, a good
morning,
day.
Sigma FX.
Sam is going to be with us for the majority of this week because our founder, Will, is busy moving house. He is busy relocating to Hong Kong, and we will probably not see Will for a little while at least. So for the interim, I've got Sam to keep me company. I will also have some other guests tomorrow and on Thursday. But thank you very much to Sam for joining me and keeping me company for the next hour and a half.
Man.
Awesome. We've got Quibus Quirson. Good morning, Quibus. Merry Christmas belated and a Happy New Year's belated to you, my friend. I hope that your holiday was all good and gravy. Happy New Year, of course. Dave Rankin, quick hi, popped in for 10 minutes. Enjoy the day. Dave, thank you very much for popping in. I know that your life is all over the place at the moment. I hope things are going well. I'd like to see you in the Discord just to kind of like show face and say hi. We can have a quick little, hello, just to find out how things are. But hope you also have a great New Year's, mate. Unbiased Trader, good morning, Happy New Year. Let's all be blessed with success this year. Yeah, mate. Let's just get it. Like, forget about the idea of being blessed. Forget about the idea of dreaming and whatnot. This is the year of action. You're just going to go out and you're going to do. Whatever you were dreaming last year, this year will become a reality based on your actions. So, yeah, I like that. Dave, Puli saying to Dave, good to see you in, mate. Hope all is going well with you and your wife. Very much so. I hope things are looking good for you and the wife, Dave. We know what's going on. We don't have to talk about it here. I know that it is a personal thing, but remember that the Brotherhood is always thinking of you, mate, and we're always here for you. It's already been an epic start thanks to Mr. Trump. Yes, Trump has gone and done a little bit of an Uno reverse to Venezuela. So let's just see how this is going to impact the market. What do you think, Sam? Do you think that with this, let's call it /invasion and kidnapping of the Venezuelan president, whether or not that is going to have an impact on any market?
It is definitely going to have an impact. It is definitely going to have an impact. I think the commodity markets, oil, gold, all of these will be rising. Like they all will be bullish because Venezuela has a lot of oil and gold reserves. So I think and given the uncertainty in the world as it is, gold and oil are pretty much set to be bullish. Gold is already moving at a rapid pace. It's only time will tell, I guess.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. Usually, when there is a little bit of let's not say social unrest, but let's say geopolitical unrest, there tends to be market movers specifically centered around gold, and then some of the US pairs as well tend to also move dramatically. Like for argument's sake, GU and EU, we might see some downward pressure here, which we're already seeing today on GU and EU on most of the pairs. But interesting thing is looking at the yen pairs as well. Like for argument's sake, USD JPY, you would think that there's like this strong up, like dollar strength. There's a little bit, but it's not all that much. So it's very interesting. It's going to be telling days going forward, I think. Definitely telling days. And then we have in the wilds. Good morning, Elias. How are you this morning, my friend? Truly, the root of all evil was money or religion. It's now oil. Well, I think the root of all evil has always been greed. Let's not call it money or religion. I think the root of all evil is greed. And going and trying to have all of the oil reserves, stockpile for yourself, that's a bit of a greedy thing, wouldn't you say?
It will be something very greedy, but given US's condition and how US loves oil, it is something to be expected, I guess.
Well, I mean,
I think
big
this is
portion of
the
the
third
community is made
time
up.
US has gotten into another country for oil, right?
Yeah.
It was Iran, Venezuela.
Iraq.
There was another country, I can't remember the name. Yeah.
So
US
they
just loves
invaded
oil.
Iraq, they invaded Iran, and they invaded Venezuela. Well, let's not call it an invasion at this point in time, because I don't think there's any stations that's being taken and controlled. I think it was more of a heist, where we're gonna run in and take control of your country by putting in a proto or a pro-Trump or pro-American, I don't know, like middle person to run the country. I don't know, mate. Like myself, I'm not a geopolitical person. I don't know enough about politics. I don't care enough about politics, to be dead honest. All I know is that somebody is going to be angry over this. Somebody stands to make a lot of money. Somebody stands to probably potentially start yet again another war. So we've got so many wars currently going on in the world that I don't know. I feel like a little bit desensitized to it almost. It's just like, this country's invaded another one. Woo, It's where it is
Like
at that point.
every other day, there's something going on. At a point of time, people get fed up. They stop caring.
Yeah,
Hope
it's
that
just
does
like,
not-
yeah, it's definitely that like,
again.
You know, everybody
Again.
spouts, you know, they have a certain like speech. Oh, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to, you know, we're going to make the world better and all of that stuff. And then the first thing that they do is they invade another country. And it's just like, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Me and my mates were discussing that we were 60 hours into the year. Just 60 hours. And somebody decided to take over a country.
I mean, Russia going into Ukraine has been what, like 3 years now? Almost 4?
Yes.
Ongoing.
Right about 4. Right about 4.
Yeah, I think I can't remember the exact date, but I just know it's been a while. So it's just it's been going on. MGN saying, wasn't it woman at some stage as well? Oh yeah, the root of all evil. Best line of this year, mate. Yeah. So, Sam, do you want to bring your screen up and then we have a quick little rundown on what you see on gold, and then we move from there?
Yes, sure.
Here we go. Your screen
Right.
is up, my friend.
So you can see that from the open of like from today's open, gold has been moving very quickly, and right now we were at a small little consolidation area. But I think gold is still going to rally higher. Not sure where it will end, but likely by the end of this week, I am guessing that we'll go somewhere over here the tops. I'm very bullish on gold this week at least, with all the news coming out. I think gold is going to rise high, so all the bulls will get to make a lot of money. Uh, yeah, I
So
took a
you're
trade
very,
this morning. One,
you're saying you're very bullish on gold.
very bullish. In fact, I would say everybody chuck in a 0.01 lot trade on gold right now and check it at the end of the week.
0.01 now, and then check it at the end of the week, you say?
Yeah. I'm
That
pretty
sounds
sure
a bit
gold
scary.
is going to rise.
Where would you put your stop loss on a 0.01?
On a 0.01. Yeah. On a 0.01, I would put the stop loss over this low right there. Barely won't be taken. How much would I be exposed to though?
Yeah, that's the question.
Yeah.
So
I would be exposed to $150, I guess.
$150,
Right about
150.
Yeah.
And then where would you be aiming? All-time highs?
Yeah, I would be aiming at the highs. Almost up to here. I think gold is gonna have a very bullish week with all the news coming out and how the Trump and Venezuela situation is. Gold has to go up. At least the fundamentals say, and the technicals are also giving indicating the same. But I might be wrong. This is not any advice. It's just how I look
Yeah.
gold. It's just
Well, if gold is going to be bullish and someone is willing to, I don't know, take a trade, then they should just trade their technical, exactly what it is that they're seeing. Look at their own
yes.
technicals and then decide.
What do you think, Rich? Do you think gold is gonna rise higher?
I think when there is social unrest, geopolitical unrest, when there's invasions and stuff like that, I feel like in general, countries tend to want to stockpile
Gold.
stuff like gold. So I tend to think that it usually leads to at least a bump of the price. Whether or not it's going to soar past all-time highs, I think maybe, yeah. I mean, we've been so bullish for so long. The whole of last year, this year, we didn't really get that Santa like rally all that much. You know, the end of December was very flat.
Very slow.
Was
Yeah,
attempts to
very
push lower on gold, and then now we're in the new year, and with this geopolitical unrest, it seems as though there is a strong potential for it to want to start pushing up higher. Like, just it's a strong. I think there's a strong potential for it. But once again, I'm not a analyst for like fundamentals. I'm generally more of a technical analyst. So when I look at the technicals to me is saying there is a potential for us to reach all-time highs and then some,
Yes. What are you looking at?
I'm looking at NAS. That is what I'm looking at. I'll just bring my my screen up, and then you can see.
Do you think it is at this point of time, like it is still the London session, NAS will be moving slower than it will be in a New York session, right? Do you think it is the right time to trade NAS?
Well, the thing is, during the day, during London session. So, during London session, generally NAS chooses a singular direction.
Right.
And then when we get into New York, we get volumetric movements. So if I wanted to have a slow runner, enter a trade, and kind of like leave it for a few hours, try for a 1-to-1, London has had some, like pre-London, Tokyo into London has had some nice moves. So in general, it kind of like chooses one direction for the whole of London. Sometimes you have flat movements. Obviously, this is December, so December markets, it's a slowed down market. But in general, if it chooses one direction, it takes that one direction for at least a while. So if it's going to be flat, it's going to be flat for a while. If it chooses to go bullish, it goes bullish for a while. In general, I'm not saying always, but in general, like here you have, when was this? This was the 19th. This was a Friday. So price, the whole from the day open was pushing bullishly, and then at some point we had a little bit of a retracement pushing lower, and then a volumetric movement pushing higher. So it tends to choose one direction, and it just follows that one direction, So I do like NAS in the morning for these kind of days where I can enter a trade just between London open and between Tokyo close and London open over here, and then start seeing there, and then I can enter somewhere over here and just kind of like ride it going higher. So I do like NAS on the Tokyo side, on just pre-London going into London, and then kind of like just running with it a little while, and then particularly looking for areas like, for argument's sake, Friday, where we had this very last attempt for price to push higher, and then we just volumetrically started pushing lower. I look for areas like this that I can potentially go and look for. So if I were to enter a trade right now, as an example, I would be aiming for up over there, and then my stop loss could be just underneath this for a 1 to 1.5, that kind of like thing. It's just the idea that generally, and even if I'm wrong, it's okay. I'm going to be right more often than not, I think. Yes. And then when it comes to New York session has these very lovely drop, a base, and then another drop. I mean, you could have entered here, had your stop loss just above that swing point over there, look for a 1 to 2, which is somewhere over there as an example, and you would have comfortably gotten that trade. Or even you could be a complete reversal trader as an example. So when price, this is all kind of like sideways consolidation, all of this. Now, obviously, it's with a grain of salt, because if you zoom in, it'll seem like, okay, there's the consolidation, and then you have a breakout over here, retest, and then a push lower. But the thing is, you never trade the stock market open on an indice.
Yes.
Because there is going to be volatile movement. Case in point, right there on Friday, candle open, wick above, wick below, and this is just on the 5 minute, and that's volatile. And then price is going to push higher, failed to reach a new high, kind of like reach this area over here where it's flattened out quite a bit, and then from there just absolutely volumetrically push down. Now it's usually what NAS does. It chooses a direction after, let's say, the first hour of the New York Open, and it just slams in that direction.
Yes, it does.
So
I have noticed that
So
in NAS particularly, rather than other indices, it moves fast. It moves in one direction, and it gives you one or two good entries every time. Like it
yeah,
does pull back.
I mean, here's December the 31st. This was last week Wednesday. The whole day it was pushing bullishly. Just at New York Open, a little bit of an indecision, started pushing lower, and it just carried on. Little bit of a slow movement, and then just carried on pushing lower until the bottom here. So if you were looking for a drop, a base, and a drop, there's your drop entry. I could have gone 1-1 on this as an example, or a 1-2. I would have been in this trade for a while. I would have gone into drawdown, but it eventually, before the end of day, would have reached my take profit. Now, obviously, there wasn't much on the left over here to test, so you had to go back all the way to the 19th, which was, what was this? Half of the month. So the 19th to the 31st, to look for an area where price could have come to test. But the point still stands that there is a NAS tends to, more often than not, choose one direction post a New York Open and kind of just go with it. So London. So on London, what I'm seeing right now, this is just on the 5 minute. We've had this
Rich,
slow.
a moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. I took an entry on gold. If you could share my screen.
Okay.
Yeah, I took this particular trade on gold. We took a small retracement. It was on the 1 minute chart. We took a small retracement and we are bouncing off an EMA. It is usually what I trade. This is the system I trade. So I took a trade. Hopefully that it's a 2-1. Sorry. Shit. Yeah, this is the trade. Hopefully it runs.
Nice. Well, good luck with that one. I am waiting for NAS to try and pull back. So I'm just going to show this on my screen at this point in time.
Sure.
So where we are right now is within this area over here. So drop, base, drop. But we've been in this area for quite a while. As you can see, the whole of Tokyo session, we've been trying. Let me just minimize this. We were trying to react here, but the reaction so far has been lackluster for a sell, as an example. Now, what I would like to see, first and foremost, is I'm just going to adjust this to make it the very last candle, the last bullish candle before price started pulling back, which is where we are right now. Right. So that's the first area I'm looking for. And then the second area is that very last attempt plus the high to look for. And then at the bottom, the very last candle. Now, obviously, you can't see it all that well, but that is a bearish candle. So I will just take the full candle of that one plus the previous lowest point. So these are the three areas that I'm effectively looking at. First and foremost, I want to see how price reacts here, because that was the last time price tried to push higher before losing to this volumetric downward push on Friday. So this is where we are right now. I want to see how it reacts. Now, if I get, for argument's sake, this is the rally, I get a small pullback and a continuation, then I'm more than happy to get in on a buy here with something like that in mind, as an example. I don't have to be in the trade for very long. The idea is it's most probably going to want to come and test up here if we get some sort of attempted a push lower and then a try and push higher, because the reaction here is what matters. Okay, so if it reacts strongly in the opposite direction, then obviously this does not matter
sense.
anymore. Then what I would need to see is price push into, push lower, retest, make a lower high in relation to this high over here, and then start pushing lower. And then what I will do then is I will then look for on this leg for a sell, the same idea, but now 1 to 2 as well. It doesn't have to be all that low. The nice thing is we have a little bit of a gap over here, and gaps tend to want to be filled because there tends to be orders just kind of like sitting there unrealized. So price, if it were to come back to that point, it tends to get filled and then pushes off of that area again. So if this is the reaction, if we get a attempt to push lower, attempt to push back in, and attempt to push it back higher again and fail and then push lower, then that is what I would be looking for. But other than that, I'm still of the opinion that this is potentially what is going to happen. I think that there is a stronger potential for us to attempt to push higher. If I go up to the hourly, the reason for that is exactly this. When we had, when we had on Friday this volumetric push down, the follow through was lackluster. We attempted to push back higher, and then obviously the news came out. The news came out that Donald Trump has decided to go and put his fingers into Venezuela. And instead of during Tokyo session all of this tanking, it's still kind of like holding its ground. It's still sitting here, which means that all of this over here is in test. All of this is to be tested. All of this downward push. And the thing is, if you go over onto the daily on NAS, you will notice that we are in a lovely little area like this. That coupled with this. That is where we're sitting right now. We have a little bit of a flag, but what is it going to be? Is it going to be a breakout to the top, or is it going to be a breakout to the bottom? And the thing is, I'm more inclined to think that there is a potential for us to break out above and at least come and retest the highs. We had one attempt down here to try and break lower, which was a very strong resistance point. If you just zoom back, you'll see there was a small reaction over here, a push through, a strong push into this area, and then a push up, a retest, and then an attempt again. Now, yes, we are technically, if this is the high and this is the low, we're making a lower high, a higher low, a lower high, a higher low. So we're condensing. We're starting to come closer and closer and closer together. And in general, what that means is that there's going to be some sort of breakout. So we just need to be ready for that breakout. Now, where we are right now, we've already tested this bottom end over here. And now the next area to come and test is this section, in my opinion, which falls in line with that high point of last week Friday. So Friday's highs, I think, is the first to be tested. Let's rather say. But that's just my opinion. I'm just going to.
Since it's January, indices like NAS gain new investors. So
Yes.
it is more often than not, it is bullish, at least for the month of January.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's the same with gold as well. If we go back to the beginning of the year, let's just do this. January of last year, going into January, or December, August, all the way into October, and then we had like a little bit of flatness over November and December. So this is November, that is December, kind of like just stuck here. But from January, starts pushing. Now, I'm not saying that this is definitely going to happen again, but I mean, just
It
taking
tends
into
to happen.
consideration this high point, attempt to push lower, same kind of idea that what we were seeing with NAS, high, low, lower high, higher low. Okay, in this case, it made a higher high, higher low in relation to this one, but a lower high and a lower low in relation to this one, and then just a push. Now, if we go and look at where we are right now, we're seeing the same kind of like thing. So bar this push down here, but October going into November, similar idea, back down here, same idea, October high, November low, October high, November low, and then we've already started pushing higher. Obviously now going into the end of December, we had this bit of a dip, but it's the same to me. Like if we go back to over here, same thing. December, we kind of like had that slightly higher point, bit of a dip, and then a push up. And that's where I think we are now. I think we're at that. We had an attempt to dip lower, and now we're just going to start pushing up. That's if we're going based on what happened last year. That's all. That's all I'm basing it on. Not basing on anything other than the fact that we had a similar move 1 year ago today. And then for
Gold on
NAS,
the daily chart just looks unreal.
the same thing for NAS. Like look at what NAS did last year. We had this push lower, a break above, a retest, failed basically that retest, attempted to push high, and then we had this volumetric sell-off going all the way to about April. And then from April, we just had absolute just like running and running and running. And I think this was all-time highs as well, yeah. We had a pullback for about 4 months from February going down to about April, so that's 2 months. And then for the rest of the year, it was just bullish. And we're seeing something similar right now where there is a little bit of let's not call it consolidation. Let's just say that we have this area over here of a little bit like indecision. We're trying to push up, but we're trying to push down. We're trying to push up, trying to push down. We're trying to push up, and then we just kind of break. Literally, you can see that I select the whole area. No, I didn't, but it doesn't matter. We have the break, the retest, and then the push lower, and then eventually we come and retest that whole area again, and then we just volumetrically move through it. So where we are right now, I think is something similar. We've got that little bit of indecision. We're building up for something. Whether or not it's going to be a sell down lower, it can happen. It can also be a buy up higher. It can also happen. If we're just looking at what happened last year at the beginning of the year, it seems as though there was this, we're trying to push the price lower to get a better entry. People wanting to invest in NVIDIA and all of these large tech companies. They want a better price, and then maybe there's news that comes out, and then it just starts pushing price volumetrically higher, which it was pretty much this candle over here. On the 9th of April, this candle was it's time. This was the one that, because after that, it just never looked back. So yeah, I'm just going to be patient. I'm just going to wait for it to show what it wants to do. I think January for me, or 2026 for me, is the year of patience. What about you?
I think the AI revolution also will play a big part in the commodity markets this time. Not just the US stock market, but the commodity markets as well. Because if you haven't noticed yet, the RAM prices shot up to the moon. All the PC components, everything are getting expensive. And they'll be requiring more natural resources like silver, gold. And yeah, the demand is getting higher, especially for
Well,
silver.
it's for the data centers.
Yes.
when it comes to the RAM prices. RAM prices has shot up because all of the data centers are using up all of the RAM. So
Yes.
you, the consumer that has your DDR5, DDR4, RAM for your personal stuff at home, you're really going to struggle because all of these tech companies are just
Manufactured.
buying up all of the individual components that make up a RAM chip. And the thing is,
And
there's like your RAM for your computer, there's the RAM for your graphics processing unit, there's RAM for phones. All of these things are
yes.
getting bought up. All of the silicone, all of the gold plating, and all of that stuff is just being, bought up just for that. So that's
Crucial,
why.
which used to be a RAM manufacturer for consumers, have shut down their consumer department completely.
Yeah, I think there's
They're
only going to be
just
one.
focusing on the data centers.
I was having a discussion with my brother about this, and I'll probably have this. We'll probably have this discussion tomorrow, surrounding the idea of the RAM implications of, for argument's sake, the data centers, because he's more in tune with that than I am, and then he can give his 2 cents about it. But there's definitely going to be a massive influx of price hikes. Definitely.
Yes. Interesting times to be in.
Yeah, it's every day is interesting times, mate. Like every day in the world is now an interesting time. How's that trade of yours going at the moment, Sam?
It took the stop loss once again.
Ah, okay, all right. So what I can see is
It was
that we have a slight little area of consolidation,
yeah.
very slight
It was
at
moving
this point.
nicely up to 1.1 is to 0.75, but then two big candles. Yeah,
You're
right
trading on the
now I
one.
think yeah, I'm trading on the 1 minute. Yeah. Uh, I know people don't like the 1 minute. I know people tend to think that the 1 minute, trading on the 1 minute is not usually profitable. But I have always been on the 1 minute, and 1 minute suits me much better. So what I tend to do is I look at the 15-minute chart, decide my bias. Right now it is bullish, and then I go on to the 1 minute and look for entries where the price has retraced back and is bouncing off an EMA, or there has been an EMA cross, and the EMA cross has been doing really well. I think based on the EMA cross, we are like up 5% or something on a 5K on a 10K account. If that if I follow the EMA strategy, EMA cross strategy, but if I am following the EMA bounce strategy, it tends to give me a lot more entries. But again, since it's a lot more entries, it tends to also not have a very good win rate, but a very good risk to reward ratio.
So with the more entries, you're getting a higher strike rate, which means that you're getting more entries based on your criterias, because obviously more entries is going to require you to like adjust your risk accordingly.
Yes.
So in theory, the more trades you have, the lower your risk should go. You
Yes.
should drop risk down based on you've got
Yeah.
more trades, because
I started using a lower risk, about 0.5%. I think 0.5% risk is almost a cheat code for prop firms, because it tends to even out any large drawdowns. I think because you are able to trade more, because you are able to take say eight continuous losses. Hopefully that does not happen. But say that you take eight continuous losses, that would be how much? 4%, right?
and yeah,
Yeah. But would you like? I don't think my strategy gives me eight continuous losses. According to my back testing, the max I get is about six continuous losses, which is also pretty bad. But that's how I trade now.
I think the last. Okay, so December was probably the best month for my strategy, and I think I got a max of 3 days. Not 3 days, like 3 consecutive losses. And then like consecutive wins, I think was close to 11.
Wow.
Give or take. So it was here roughly around the end of the month. Like the December, not December, Christmas holiday period was the worst section for mine. So my worst time was over here. This was on the 30th.
There was a lot of consolidation at that point of time, wasn't there?
Yeah. So I had a loss over here. I had a loss over here as well on the 29th, and then I had a loss here as well on Friday the 26th. So I had 3 consecutive losses. I got a very good win on the 23rd, and that's about it. And these weren't big trades. They were all reduced in size. So, and I also I don't just look at, for argument's sake, all of my NAS trades. I look at each session because I trade them differently. So my London session, I don't trade the same way I trade my New York session. So I separate the two. My London session trading has its own stats. My New York session trades has its own stats. And then I have a combination of the two. So, where they're combined and say, okay, this is how it did across the board. But unfortunately, it's not always going to, it's not always going to be in my favor, I would say.
So you're trading only NAS right now?
Only NAS. Purely NAS. NAS purist at this point in time, I would say. And the reason why I've been looking at NAS is because they first and foremost, I'm finding the way that it moves to be more in line with what I'm looking for, specifically what I'm looking for. That's the first thing. And secondly, 0 commission. That means that my price to play, my price of entry into this market is less. Yes, you do have a bit more spread from your entry point to where you're going to get, actually entered in, which can be a bit annoying. But overall, I've had full movements regardless of where I've entered. It hits 1-to-1s easily, like easily. It hits 1-to-1s.
Yes.
I think my 1-to-1 strike rate is 100%. It's usually when I'm trying for a 1-to-1.5 to 1-to-2 where I'm getting less. Those are my consecutive losses is on the 1-to-1.5s during New York session. During London, I don't think I've lost in December, a 1-to-1 trade on NAS.
If you are having such a high strike rate on 1-to-1s, why not up your risk and milk it as long as you can?
Because it doesn't always move more than that 1-to-1. London tends to have a movement. Like, let's say, for argument's sake, last week, Friday, as an example. This is the 15-minute. I go down to the 5. So here we have consolidation coming to the end of the Tokyo session. It's very, very slowed momentum. Doesn't really doesn't really choose a direction. You can actually have it something like this to be closer towards the consolidation. Okay. And then when it breaks nice and strong. So what I'm then looking for after a break, if I did not take the break, as in the breakout as example, let's say I took that candle as the trade, I wait for my rally-based rallies, and I have a rally and I'm looking for a base, and this is the base. So I will then enter on the close of this bullish candle, so it will be somewhere over there. And then if I'm looking for a 1-to-1, that is what I would be getting. Now, look how it would have eventually come and knocked me out down over here if it was more than a 1-to-1. Let's say it was a 1-to-1.5. which is over there, I would have been knocked out. And if it was a 1 to 2, same deal. So when it comes to London, based on how I trade, 1-to-1s is the best way for me if I did not trade this breakout. Now, obviously, if I traded the breakout, it would not have made any difference whatsoever. I would have gotten my 1-to-2s. But I don't trade the breakouts all that much because I'm waiting for that establishment of a trend and then continuation of the trend. So I also do trade reversals, which I do like as well, but they just don't happen all that often. Like for argument's sake, over here, we have a very slight reversal. If you have this as consolidation, you have the breakout and then an attempt at a retest and then a push lower. But there was news over here on Friday, so I didn't take the trade whatsoever. But there was a potential for it. So you have the high. You have the high of the day. It's slowed going into it. You have the low over here, which is the most recent. So if you just think of it like this, this is the high point. This is the low point. You have an attempt to push it higher over here, which then fails. So this is a lower high. And then you're creating a lower low over here, effectively. Now, this is once again, just in a nutshell, it's just in this area over here. This is just what we're looking at. Because there was the slowed momentum, an attempt to push it higher, and then a failure, and then attempt to push lower, volumetric reaction pushing lower. So, what am I looking for then? I'm looking now for a attempt to push it back lower again. But now, I've noticed that during this section of the day, when you have this change in direction, you have this change in from bullish to bearish bias, you tend to have a retest of the lowest point, which is right over here. Or at least you have a retest of the candle that broke that recent low, which is this. So it retests over here and then it closes there. It retests again and closes. So at any point here, I could have entered a 1-to-1 as an example to try and get a trade. It would have worked over there. I would have been knocked out on this one over there. If I entered on that one over there, it would have worked. So it's just, it doesn't always go in my way when it comes to the reversals around this time. The reversals around going into Tokyo, into London works a lot better, and then going into New York works a lot better than it does midday during London. Over here also, we had a very, very nice change as well. This one over here. High, lower, low. So high, low. Lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, higher high in relation to the previous one, but then followed up by an immediate push lower. So immediately it just carries on down to this point. But now here we have the low, a lower high, a higher low, a higher high. So this is the point where price changed its direction. So if you just think of it like this. So if this was the high point and this one was the low point, this one over here becomes a higher low. This one over here becomes a higher high. You know, something like this.
Yes.
So the idea is now this downward action got broken here. You can see the same thing over here where you have high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, and then a higher high all of a sudden. But where's the follow up? It's pushing down lower. And the thing is, this is a lower low and then a higher high and then lower low and then a higher high. It's not the same as this. It's going high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, and then all of a sudden a higher high. So you want that confirmation, and the confirmation is a higher low followed by a higher high.
High.
In this case. And this is the point where we start having your break. So the very last higher low as well as that. This is now your break point. This is the area where price has like, you know what? I attempted, I failed. I failed to push the price lower. I'm going to start pushing it up. So what am I going to look for? Now I'm looking for, after my new high point, after this higher high has been made, this one over here. I'm just going to remove this high and this low because they don't matter anymore. These are the only two that matters now. Now I'm looking for it to try and push down a little bit lower, going into a rally-based rally. So in this case, this is a rally. This is the rally that created the higher high, these three candles. We have a base and then a continuation. But if I were to enter here, look how good this trade would have been for a 1-to-1.
Yeah.
Great. I could have entered on that one as well. The entry points is almost identical. Whether I entered on this candle, so obviously the closure of the candle, so it's the very next candle, a little bit of a push down. You could have had your stop loss below the most recent swing point, which was this one over here, as an example, and then you would have had even better. This would have been a 1-to-2. But that's what I like going for. And then the 1-to-1s have just really been working for London specifically. Now, obviously, you can turn around and say, oh, there was so much more in this trade. If you entered over there and your stop loss was below that most recent swing point, you could have had so much more. That's hindsight, mate. You're trading in hindsight.
We are all millionaires.
This is like, look, you could have had a 3R trade. Yeah, I could have. But I am happy with my 1-to-1s. When it comes to New York, sorry, I don't know what the hell my voice just did there. When it comes to New York, I start looking at 1-to-2s. This makes a lot more sense to me because there's more volume, there's more participation. There's everybody's waiting for the stock exchange to open, and for Nvidia to be traded like more religiously. So then I know that during London, I'm getting more 1-to-1.5s, 1-to-2s. But London 1-to-1s, that is what I'm looking for. I'm more than happy to have my 1-to. Here we are. Here we've had the reaction at the very tippy top of it. Not yet to say that this is a change of character, because we have the high point over here, which was broken. We have the low point over here, which has yet to be tested. We've already made a higher high. Now we need to see where the low is going to be. Where's the next low going to be? This is the high, and this is the low. This is a higher high. I want to see where's the lower low. If there isn't one, it's fine. Meaning that, let's say it starts to push lower and lower. Right now, it looks good for a potential for a sell because it's been pushing up. It's got a drop-based drop, but the drop-based drop and rally-based rally only works if we're in the trend, not while we're creating or like in the opposite trend. So right now we're in an uptrend. You don't get drop-based drops in uptrends. So this is not a drop-based drop right now because we haven't established a downtrend. I'm going to have a quick little catch up with chat and see who is still there. We've got Sigma saying, a wise man once said, trade what you see, not what you think. I think I will trade what I see happening. Smart move, mate. I think it's the same. Well, I see it's the same. We have to make sure that if we're going to trade a system or if we're going to trade a specific idea, that idea is not based on speculation to the degree of hope. I hope that this is the move that's going to happen. I believe that this is
blowing on candles from our screen.
Say again.
Where we are blowing on candles from our screen.
Yeah, like those. Like
we don't want to do that.
No. So go up. You don't want to trade with hope because hope is not based on reality. It's based on expectation. I expect this to happen, so I hope it will happen because I don't want to.
We do not want to trade on hope and desperation. We just don't want to do it.
You want to trade based on what you're seeing. So I agree with what Sigma is saying. In the wild saying, MG, and I think you mean women, her, they, them. Happy New Year, everyone, from Will. What's up, Will? A comic relief has arrived. Gonna skip over him. Right. I gotta go now, peeps. I will try and pop in tomorrow morning before I fly. Will, good luck with the flight, mate. I hope it is an uneventful one. Hope you get to your destination nice and safe. And then we will see you when you're settled. You can give us a little tour when you're nice and settled before we just jump in, into the stream again. That would be great. Dave saying, me too, cheers, all break a leg. Thanks, Dave, for jumping in, mate. I hope you have a good one. Unbiasing, I think you have to be brave to trade Christmas, New Year's period. Well, I think the thing is, it's the same price action as you see throughout the year. You get consolidations, you get breakouts, you get reversals. It's the same thing. It's just it's the volume that changes. It's the participation. How many participants? How willing are they to choose a direction? In general, the new year, everybody's coming back from holiday. Everybody's coming in fresh mindset. They might just surprise you, mate, with New Year's trading. So I don't know. I wouldn't say it's brave. I just think it's calculated.
Some people trade well in the New Year markets. Some people have adapted to that kind of market.
Yeah, I think that there is a potential for people to really, really solidify their year's trading just on a January. Like I try not to trade in December because the volume is just not there. So I will enter, but I would probably not be entering with my full risk. I'll half my risk. But like I explained now, with NAS during the during the London session, I've had amazing results. Now, I wish that I had done 1% or 0.5% for them, because that would have been a lot better. But I did 0.25% and they worked well. So I'm happy with that. Unbiased Trader, if trading equity-related markets, I think it's good to stay away last 2 weeks of August and December. Now, I'm not sure about August, but December... I'm not sure about August, but December, yes. I get it. It's the end of the year. It's a massive holiday section. A lot of bank closures, bank holidays, that kind of like stuff. People's in the same spirit of like, oh, it's holidays. I don't really want to, I don't really want to trade, or I don't really want to open up a new position. It's potential. Okay, so if this candle over here closes bullishly and at least looks like it wants to start pushing higher, then this will be our new higher low. So once again, this point over here is the high. This point over here is the low. We've already established a higher high. Now I would like to establish a higher low. If this ends up being the higher low, then I would start looking for a potential buy. Because another thing that I also like doing is I like breaks of significant areas. In this case, Tokyo high or session highs to me is also significant areas, because in general, if it breaks through and it likes to come and hop off of it and then move back up again. Doesn't always happen, but if it does happen, I would be happy. So I'm just going to wait for this to establish itself. If it doesn't, it's fine. We'll move on. So that's the high. This is the low. Let's just keep these ones over here. On the 15-minute, you can see rally, base. If this is going to be another drop lower, then it's probably not going to be a base rally, but we'll see. We've got 13 minutes. But we'll just give it time. Right now, it's reacting off of this area that I had on the 5-minute. It's just patience. It's just the patience thing, mate. In the wild, saying quick TP on a gold long. Oh.
Yeah, it was a good trade. I saw it on the Discord.
Oh, you saw it? Nice.
Yeah, it was on the Discord. He posted it on the Discord.
you see, look at this. Like if we're looking at gold, if this is the area of consolidation, we have the breakout of the consolidation, the retest, and then the continuation higher. There was always an area that you could have. Okay, I don't have a specific gold strategy right now, but like 1-to-1s, that's a 6.6 down to a 6.6 over here, just on a good old-fashioned break retest. But obviously you would have wanted all of it, like all of the movement, even though it's technically not really like quintessential consolidation. It's still trending. It's still upward market, higher highs, higher lows, just shortened attempts at pushing higher, short attempts at pushing lower. Same here. It's a little bit consolidative, and then it looks like it wants to go. So let's MACD is a bit flat though, because there isn't a lot of volume at the moment. So whenever you have movements like this, your MACD tends to do the same thing. You know, little bit slowed. It looks like it's, you know, it's going to start pushing variously. No, it's not. It's just consolidating. So a bit more of a pullback yet again. Let's see whether or not this is going to be a strong pullback. What the 15-minute look like? Okay, 15-minute looks like it's got a bit of a reversal candle over here. Let's have a look at... These are the markups that I made, you know, like last week already, or before last week. So what areas do we have to come and test? That's one area. This one was already broken. That one there is another area. This was the one that I had the discussion with Will, that I said it's probably not going to push lower than 4,300. And if it does, it will not go lower than 4,200. This was the area that I had initially marked up. We had a singular reaction over here. We had a singular reaction, started pushing up. That was a base area on the 5-minute that it reacted off of, pushed back into 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a 5th attempt, and now pushing higher. So my areas are still in play, I think. Yeah, so these are two base areas. Established downtrend, last attempt to push price higher, pushes lower, last attempt to push price higher, pushes lower. Reacted into it exactly. This one over here had a reaction but no follow-up and is pushed higher above it. So there is a potential for us to come and retest it before coming to push into this area up over here, 4446 to 4464, and then above that is going to be 4496 to about 4520, which is this large section over here. But you can go and reduce it to something like that. Let's look on the 15-minute. If it, yeah. So this was the last time price attempted to push higher. So we'll take that there with that. So this is then 4,506 to about 4,519. And then above that, we have the all-time highs with the last candle, which is over here. And that's 4,538 to 4,550. But obviously, like I said, we have to break through all of these areas first before we can consider coming back to all-time highs. This was the break point for it to push lower. So strong attempt, lower high. So high, low, lower high, higher low, lower high, finally a lower low. So this was the break point over here. And I think that's why I had the break point marked up over here, because we had this higher low and then lower high point over here. It broke here and then volumetrically sank down. So we want to see how it reacts. How did this one react over here? Also, same thing. The base areas on the 5-minute, one reaction, secondary reaction, strong one, pushed all the way down here. Now, obviously, there was a volumetric movement over here. You could have had the very last attempt at pushing down, and then the first bullish candle pushed it through. That's a singular reaction over here. One reaction off of this base area over here, or of this Order block over here. That base area over there was tested once, pushed lower, tested twice, pushed lower. And then the third time, when it came back to it, there was a little bit of indecision. It wicked just above, attempted to push lower, and then it slowly started trending up higher. So if this holds and this one holds, we're definitely going higher, I think.
Yeah, I think I'm bullish on gold. Bullish on gold.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely bullish gold. Because we are, if this is the high point, misclicked. If this is the high point and this is the low point, we have already established a higher high, and we have yet to come and test this gap over here, first and foremost, the gap that we have here, but also the low point down here still to be tested. And as of right now, we're just kind of like making higher highs, higher lows, even though it's very slowed in this area over here. It's still an upward trend. Nas on the 15-minute is busy making a base, busy making a rally. So we have uptrend already, as you can see from over here. This is a slight uptrend. Higher highs, higher lows. We wicked just below this area over here. Just kind of wicked it. Started pushing up. So I am looking for a buy now. So let's go down to the 5-minute. Oh, this doesn't look super great on the 5-minute though. But this is definitely the low. So this is a higher low. That one there. On the 15. If this one closes bullishly, I will probably enter on a buy. Going for a 1-to-1. What is that on the hourly? Nothing on the hourly. On the 5-minute, what do we have on the 5-minute? We have... Yeah, there's a potential for it. But that's if the 15-minute closes bullishly. But I don't know, it doesn't look super great at the moment, does it?
Yeah, I don't know. Do you think the markets are slow? Because I feel they are slow.
I mean, like, this is what NAS is usually like.
Gold usually moves a lot more at this point of time.
Do you only trade the EMA bounces and reactions? Or do you like kind of like look at market structure also? So do
I
you
do
like
look
just
at
blind? Okay.
I do look at market structure. Market structure is where I bias my trend from. But say the market structure is bullish, and the EMAs are currently showing me that there's a downtrend. I do not take shorts there. I prefer my bias based on the market structure, and once I have my bias set, I look for bounces on the EMA or EMA crosses.
EMA crosses. I've tried EMA crosses in the past, and it's just it's never like really worked out for me, to be dead honest with you.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I choose the wrong EMA crosses. I don't know.
Yes, I had to I had like EMAs is how I started looking the markets from when I started my trading. EMAs were what helped me make sense of the markets, and ever since then it stuck with me. So I have always been looking at the markets from a filter with the EMAs. So I think I have developed my how I look at the markets in that way. That's the reason I use them. and it took me a lot of time to find the right EMAs and the right the time
Hmm.
period when it was. Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot of work put behind it. And initially I thought EMS, they just don't work because every at that point of time, a lot of people, even now, a lot of people say that no indicator by itself can make you profitable. No indicate, and it is
Exactly.
true. No indicator by itself can make you profitable, but you can develop a system based on that indicator. That's what I believe. You can develop a system based on RSI maybe, or you can develop a system based on VWAP. Many people have a system based on RSI and VWAP.
Hmm.
Similarly, I have a system based on EMA. They help me look at the market in a certain way. Yo, Void, how are you?
What's up, Void? What's up, Akram? Good to see you, inmate. Happy New Year to you, my friend. Yo, Sam. Good to see LFG. Damn. What's up, Void, mate?
Yeah, uh, 2026 is the year of great meme reset. Do you know that?
Say again.
Great meme reset.
A great meme reset.
Reset.
So we're
So
resetting all of the
basically,
memes.
we want to bring all the memes of 2016 back because 2016 was such a banger of a year. We
Okay.
want to bring the elements of 2016 back. So
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to go and relive 2016 again to bring all of those memes back because I can't remember which memes were memeable back then.
2016 was the year of the dab.
Oh, I mean, we've been dabbing like non-stop. You must have a great dab.
Year of the dab, year of the bottle flip, year of the fidget spinner. Such a good
Oh,
year,
mate.
right?
I saw a fidget spinner yesterday. Man, I was this close to getting one, but I have my own fidget spinners, which is my chips. You know, if I want to drop a chip, if I want to fidget with something, I'm usually sitting with like a chip in my hand and then just like playing with them. So my hands are a little asleep at the moment. All right, so on NAS at this point in time, it is looking a little bit slowed, but I do think that there is a potential for a buy to come in. The 15-minute candle is closing now. It is closing bullishly. It did react off of the high of the Tokyo section. I don't know if I want to enter it. It's looking a little bit meh to me. You know what meh means?
Yeah,
M-E-H? Yeah.
I meh, like not the
Eh.
perfect.
It's very, very, very mediocre. So I don't really like this reaction. I would have loved to have seen it at least, curve a little bit stronger here than it did. So I would have loved to have seen this candle over here be at least another bullish candle, but it wasn't. It was a semi-doji with an attention. It looks like it wants to potentially push down from here. Even though we've had this reaction here, it seems as though this reaction point over here was the stronger reaction point as of right now. So even though this is a higher low, doesn't look good. Not good.
If you could bring my screen up once. Yeah. So basically on gold, we are starting to move up. I missed my I missed my trade. Usually I think what I have observed from the markets is 0.71 and 0.29 are the two places where gold tends to have a more of a success rate on Fibonacci. So if I were to have taken a trade here, which I obviously missed, it would have been a very decent trade, maybe a 1:1.5 or something like that. Let me see. Down over here. Yeah, a 1:1.5, even a 2. Yes, on to the next. Apart from that, I have been keeping an eye on USD JPY, and as soon as I enter anything, it is a pure consolidation.
Lovely, isn't it? Don't you just love it
Yeah,
when that happens?
can't explain it in words.
USD JPY, you do it on the 1 minute. If you look at
No,
it on the 5
yeah, I look at it like I take the trades based on whatever I see on the 15 minutes and 5
on the
minutes,
15.
but I like to see the 1 minute just for
Mm.
I like the moving candles. Maybe I should not.
You took a buy, correct?
Yes, a buy.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think from this point there's a, there's a I think this is my demand zone, and there was a good enough reaction. There's a good enough buying pressure coming in. That's what I feel. There's a little bit of buying pressure coming in, so I took a buy. Let's see.
On the 15-minute, from the highs of Tokyo, we're in a downtrend at the moment. So
Yes,
we've
I think that this area might hold, but yeah, we never know. I am of the opinion that that area might hold.
okay. Well,
Yeah,
I don't
and
trade
the 1 hour
the
also,
USD anyway.
and even on the 1 hour, if you see, there's a 50 EMA. The blue EMA is the 50 EMA that tends to
Mm.
be a support area. So
Yeah.
I lined up for me. It lines up for based on my plan.
I mean, fair. So the reason why I tend to follow price action on the lower time frames a little bit more is when you look at the higher time frames, 1 hour, 4 hour, daily, that kind of like thing. The further away you start moving, I'm just going to bring my screen up, then you can see it. The further away, this green one is also the 50 EMA. The further you move away from the EMA, the bigger the pullback to get to the EMA.
Yes, yes.
So the
EMA
space
is
from
almost
up
like a
there
magnet. It
to down.
tries to bring the price near it.
Yes, but I mean the same idea. It's just like the EMA itself tends to weigh its plot, where it plots the data, a lot more towards the end of the or the newer information. So this old information is still based on the older candles, but the front portion of the EMA is generally closer, or it takes into regard more the latest information.
Yes.
So as it was moving away, that's the top end going back towards the EMA. These pullbacks obviously are much larger the further away you are from the EMA. Makes sense. Because it has a much farther distance to move down to get to the EMA. All right. But what I look at is the amount of, and the not just the amount, but also how price found its way back to the EMA. This was a volumetric push higher. 50 EMA. This blue one is just a 20 EMA with a shadow. One attempt to push lower, attempt to push higher, lower, attempt to push higher, lower. So it's got like this slow progression back down to the EMA. It's not volumetric, it's not strong, it's just slowly working its way back down, which feels like natural price action. Okay? Same thing, pushes reactively off of it, but when it comes back down the next time, after a bit of consolidation, it's a much stronger push. And each one of, and this is on the hourly, each one of these successive candles are stronger than the previous one. It's then followed up by an attempt to take it all up, a retest. Now remember, the price has gotten a lot closer to the EMA now, so the amount of pullback that you need to get back to the EMA is a lot less. So price reacts volumetrically off of it. But look what's happening here. 1, 2, 3, 4 bearish candles, strong bearish candles, and I've already marked out the distance between that point and the EMA. So there's the EMA and the highest point from this, let's call it more natural of a downward decay towards the EMA. You're already at the EMA and it's volumetrically pushing there. This kind of reaction to me signifies it's not the same as this reaction over here. You know, price had a high coming back to the EMA. It's not the same as this reaction over here, consolidation, and then a push back into the EMA. This reaction is completely different because you have volumetric follow-up bearish candles. So for me to say that this is going to have the same reaction for me to say that this is going to be the same reactive bounce off of the EMA as it did over here or maybe over here completely disregards the fact that the reaction is not the same. The reaction towards the EMA is what I'm referring to, not the reaction off of the EMA.
Yes, yes.
So
I never thought of it like that, and I like this thinking. I will integrate this. I'm taking notes.
consider this. If you're just looking at higher highs, higher lows, if that is the high, and this was quite an established one because you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the hourly attempts at this area, and only once did it break it over here, right? So this is a high. This is a high point over here. You have a low point over here, which was the most recent low prior to price breaking one of the two, either the high or the low. So this is a low. Now you have a higher low over here, and you've established quite a significantly higher high all the way up over here. So
Yes.
when the low was established and the high was established, you had this little intermediary area over here where price didn't quite know what it wanted to do, but then it established a higher low and then broke through the higher high, creating a new high, an attempt to make a low, a new high. So we're just going to take this as a higher high. Now the thing is, we've already swept this most recent lower low with this wick. Now generally, if you have a massive wick like this, it does mean that there's a potential of indecision. Like price went all the way down to that point. You can see it on the 5 minute as an example. If this is the hourly candle, if this is the hourly candle, it pushed all the way down and then it took back a little bit, and now it's consolidating. So that just means indecision. It just means it doesn't quite know where it wants to go. But the fact that it was so volumetrically bearish after it took the new high, basically on this high swing over here, there is a potential for it to come and retest this higher low over here, or even potentially the low of the established low, the previous low on this section that we're looking at right now. But even though we're still technically in a uptrend, because we still have a higher high, we have yet to see a swing point. We haven't swung anything. There's no attempt from the bulls to try and push price higher as yet. But in the larger scene of what's going on, it's still bullish. So high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, a little bit of a lower low, equal highs over here, slightly higher low, higher high, higher low. So even though it's got like weird price action going up, it's still bullish. So I can see the potential for it wanting to push up. However, based on this hourly, how strong this downward push was, and the fact that we've already swept the most recent like low swing point, and we're not reacting bullishly off of it, like we did over here. Like if you imagine this reaction over here, but over here, then you would say, yes, it's definitely bullish. But it isn't. So as it stands right now, there is a potential, I think, for it to come lower and then potentially pushing up higher. This is on UJ, by the way. So take it for what it's worth. We could be seeing a little bit of...
Really good point. I never thought of it like this, but this makes a lot of sense. I'll integrate this.
Don't integrate it just yet. Go and test it first.
I mean, like, I'll...
go and have a look and see whether or not...
it.
Yeah. It's the same with NAS as well. On the 5 minute, we've had this reaction over here. Now, instead of us getting that follow-up bullish action, we've already broken back down. So we're already changing what is currently happening in the market. This is the low. This is the high. When we had the option to try and push price higher, we just couldn't. Lower high. Now we're starting to push lower. So there is a potential here. And if you just look at the fib as well, just the fib over this, we've already moved past the 50% fib already. Not that I trade the fibs, but just the idea that how large is this pullback? How large is the retracement is kind of like the thing that I kind of look at as well. The momentum of that move. How volumetric is it in relation to how it was moving previously when it was at the same level? Are we still in an uptrend? Are we making higher highs, higher lows? No, we're not. We're starting to make lower highs instead of higher highs. But our low is still intact. The low is all the way down here. Still to be tested. We're still above the 50 EMA, but not that that is of like significance right now, because price action is what is the important point, not the EMA. The EMA is just a visual representation of what price was doing over a set amount of candles on average. So as it stands right now, we're seeing this potential attempt to want to start pushing lower. If this was the high and this is now the new low, we've already broken the new low, as a swing point, because technically this was the higher low in relation to the low down here. If this was the low, this is the higher low, and it's already been taken. So we're back in this whole, if I just go back to the daily, we're back in this idea over here. Same idea. When we're establishing a directional trend to try and make a higher high, it's followed up by a higher low. But then it's immediately followed up by a lower high and then a higher low yet again. So we're just converging onto a same point. And it's the same thing on the lower time frames as well. We're making a low, we're making a high, we're making a higher low, but then we're following it up immediately with a lower high. So trend establishment is a bit difficult at the moment. Because if you look at the higher trend, a higher time frame trend, it's moving to a singular point. It's converging onto an area. This was a nice volumetric move. Now imagine if you were lucky enough to get into some sort of trade down here, you could have had a nice little move up. But if you decided to take the follow up, if I took that one there, I would be crying right now, because I'd be deep in drawdown. So it's just, I like the way that the market moves sometimes in NAS. It's just getting it right. It's getting the right movement. Was this the right movement? This first initial upward push? Or is this the movement that we're looking for? It just begs to be seen. As of right now, I don't know. I'm looking more at the idea of potentially selling should we continue with this downward. Let's say if we establish another lower high, like, I don't know, maybe somewhere over there as an example, then I can potentially look for a trade to try and take the lows again, which would be perfect for a 1-to-1 as an example. But to get in now would be silly, because it could just as easily decide right here and now. Keep misclicking. It can just easily decide right here and now that it just wants to start pushing up. And then this lower or higher low that was over here now becoming a lower low in relation to this one is still a higher low in relation to the low of the day. Or not the low of the day, but the low of the session. So it sometimes plays with your feelings, this NAS. Are you in anything else, Sam?
No.
Are you in any other trades? Are you still looking at potentially gold?
Yes, I'm looking at gold, and it's a wait for now. If wait a minute, so if this candle, the 1 minute candle right now, is a good close, it's a good engulfing candle, then without this long topic, then I might think of entering in a long, but nothing as of now. For me,
So
the
you've only
market,
had the one trade today so far.
yes. On stream only one, but before stream I had another one which hit my TP. This was the one.
And what is your risk generally on your trades?
0.5. Right now, I am keeping it at point 0.5. What I'm trying to do right now is, say that I take a trade with point 0.5 risk, make 1%, right? So now 1% is my today's profit. So I am willing to risk this 1% to make 2%. And then again, 3% would be my profit for the day. I would be willing to risk anywhere between 2 to 3%, which is my profit of the day, to make say 4 or 6%, to accelerate my, the process of getting funded. Once I get
Okay.
funded, I won't be doing this. But right now, I want to capitalize on the days which are my purple patches, or the days which, I tend to make more than I not. That's the reason I'm thinking, using the profit of the day as a lever to pass my prop firm challenges faster. What do you think about that? Do you think it's a good idea?
I mean, that assumes you've made profit in your first trade or so. Like,
Yes.
what is your
I, I
daily
I
amount?
only leverage my profit of the day. I will not leverage, the given drawdown per se.
Okay, so when do you stop? If you've had um, two losing trades, what do you do then?
Two losing trades, as in without profit of the day.
Yeah, no profit for the day.
No profit for the day. I take three trades at 0.5%. That's where I stop.
Okay. So you have a hard stop. So it's like, okay, 1.5%. I'm done for the day. Whatever.
Yeah.
That's good. That was my only concern, because the idea of scaling is based, or at least let's say risking what you've already made, is great if you're making profit. But if you're not making profit, it doesn't work at all, because then what are you
Yes.
risking? You're just risking capital that you have, not capital that you've won. So
Yeah.
in that case, you need a hard stop. You need a rule that says that if it reaches X amount in drawdown, I'm done for the day. Start afresh tomorrow.
Yep.
All right.
What I want to do is, when the days that, those, everybody has those days where everything goes well. Every trade that you take, just it does not even enter drawdown. It's just surfing the profit very close near the TP. I want to capitalize on those days. I want to, use the profit I have already made for the day, not the not the profit that I made yesterday, but just today. I want to leverage that and try to pass my challenges faster.
I like it, considering the fact that you have some sort of like risk management rule if it doesn't go in your way. So I like
Right.
that for that fact. All right, Sam, we've come to the end of our hour and a half. To everybody in chat, thank you very much for being with us on this very first new Apex Brotherhood for 2026. If you haven't already, please drop us a like. And if you are new here, drop us a like and a subscribe. And then we'll see you guys all tomorrow again. Anything from you, Sam, before we end the stream?
Nothing much. Cheers, guys. Meet you again on Wednesday.
All of
I will
our
be meeting you on Wednesday. Rich and will be joining you on Tuesday.
yes, you'll see Sam again on Wednesday. So thanks, Sam, for, like I said once again, for keeping me company this first week while Will is AWOL, away without leave. Guys, in the description box below is all of our socials. It is the Discord if you want to get in there, if you're not in there already. So yeah, we'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks very much for joining us. And once again, thanks to Sam for keeping me company. All right, guys, have a great day. We'll see you all in the Fiverr stream in just a little bit. Cheers, guys.